All right, everybody, Doug Lane here, Fast Lane Car Care. We got the 2022 Camry. I just did a video on the back window, on how to do the back glass, because I know some people are real concerned about these being curvy. I'm going to show you how to do these little quarter windows. These little fellas right here. Now, look at all this dirt and crap on these seals. Now, these seals are kind of loose, but up in this top corner, they're really not. Some people fight with these. I see a lot of them in parking lots that have the good old classic cut line, which means when you're looking at it from the outside, you can see where the tint stops. It's not tucked up in the seals. Personally, I hate that. It's the absolute worst. So, in my opinion, of course. So I'm going to show you how to take these apart. You're going to need a pick, a screwdriver, you know, nothing really super fancy. We basically just need to access the screws. I'm going to grab a hold of, this is the Tool Talk Tuesday coming out this week. This coming Tuesday is all about tool storage. Now you can see why, you know, why I'm a big proponent for having everything right there where you need it. Makes things really efficient. Full disclosure, I don't remember exactly which way these come apart. There we go. And can't remember if the back doors, I think it's just this screw. I think it's 2 screws on the back, 3 on the front. I could be wrong. You guys that are panel pullers may know, but you're probably not watching this video if that's the case. So we got 2 choices. We can either take all this apart and then plug our window switches back in, or we can roll these windows both down all the way. That's what I'm going to do, so I don't have to plug and unplug and all that stuff. So, hit her key. Looks like she's a 2-tapper here. And just go ahead and turn our headlights off. Make sure our windows are down, and go ahead and hit the power. And listen to it ding for 25 minutes. The reason why you have to plug these back in is the windows won't work if the switch isn't plugged in. Down here there's a little lever, or not a lever, it's like a lip. Perfect, get your hand in. Okay, and basically we're gonna find out real quick if there's a screw under here or not. And there must be. Yep. Typical Toyota. So again, not a big deal at all. 3rd screw. Man, they tighten these ones up pretty good. So this one is kind of tethered on there, which not a big deal. And we've lost a little gasket for one of our clips. Not a big deal. So all we're gonna do is sit this little guy right here. Now just kind of rock them up and out. No big deal. See, we got our lock rods here. So boom, boom. You don't have to do that. I don't want the door panel sitting here hanging on it. This little guy goes back in there because I like to put the door panels back in the car. And I like to do that so they're not getting dirty on the floor. Nothing can get lost. Here's a great time to look right here and say, okay, there's a little tab missing a gasket. And looks like there's a 3rd one. Oh, it's right there. So, perfect. Everybody's accounted for. Pull this little guy out. One of these clips didn't make it. We can just leave it on there. It doesn't really matter. Choose your own adventure. You can either take it off, which I'm just going to leave it on because otherwise it's going to be a pain to clip it back on there. So, pull this little seal out, pull this little guy out. This little guy, he gets to stay in here because he's kind of molded in. I'm sure you probably could take it out, but why? If you want to bottom load, you can go ahead and pull this side out. I don't really care. We're going to switch this out for a 10 millimeter. But before we do that, we got 1 screw up here in the top. Pull back our rubber seal. Don't lose this guy, he's pretty important. We're done listening to that, I can promise you that much. 1/4 inch with a 10. See how I got that all laid out? It's all ready to go. And we're going to take this one all the way out. I love how I'm sitting here making a video like, yeah, this is how you do this, this is how you do this, but now I can't remember if there's 2 bolts down in here, and there is. One's conveniently located behind this little deal here. So, we can take our other trim tool, which it's on the inside of the door, so it doesn't really matter. We'll just go ahead and use our metal one. Pop that tab out. Pop that tab out. Pop this tab out. Now, we're not going to remove this all the way. Just careful of that little guy there. That's a airbag sensor right there. See how we got that right there? There's our bolt, huh? This is the entire reason I bought this, and my fiance thought I was dumb. But look at that right here. Make sure we're going the right way, and we're not. Flex head, so we'll just go ahead and give her about 1 click of flex. Huh? Come on now, buddy. There we go. So, really all we need to do is loosen this up. Let me see if I can get you a little better angle here. We don't need to take this all the way out. And the reason why we needed to roll the window down is because this needs to come forward. But before we can do that, we need to take this little piece of weather strip kind of loose in the corner so that we can move this over. And we just want to make sure that we don't mess up the seal. Okay, might be enough. We might need a little bit more. See how I just kind of grabbed a hold of both sides and pushed that? Okay, that's all you gotta do. Now if you need to create a little more space, you know, reach in here, loosen this up a little bit more. I don't like to take this one all the way out, simply because it's gonna be a really big pain to get it started. And I don't want to have to disturb this whole panel, so I just loosened it up a bit. It gives us enough space. We're really just hitting on this little seal, so what we need to do is just kind of twist this in just to get it past. There we go. Just a matter of getting a little feller out of there. So, as you can see, pretty simple to do. Now all we gotta do is just take this out. Huh? Look at that. Make sure you don't drop this, obviously. Feel like that should go without saying. We're pretty much it. Not rocket science. The other side will go way faster. Promise you that. Let's go ahead and scrub this with some glass cleaner. I like to clean these guys a couple of times. I don't really worry about the outside too much. Right now we're working on the inside of the glass. Not really worried about the outside because obviously tint goes on the inside. Just give it a quick little mist like this. This isn't my final clean or anything like that, and we could do a lot of things little bit differently if we wanted to. Normally, I would have more of this bench cleaned off so I could get it, you know, sitting further back, but it really don't matter. What you could also do is you could go ahead and cut your front windows or any of your other roll-up windows out. Just use the offcuts from this. I'm using a 36-inch roll today because that's what I have. I don't have any 24s. Such is life, at least in ceramic. 20% from where I've been, you know, switching brands. So what we're going to do, I'm going to leave just a touch of overhang right here. Give her a quick little mist. Just kind of anchor this film down. Now we can go about this two ways. We can shave it, or we can just cut along the inside edge, and that's what we're going to do here, because again, you're going to put this back in the seals, and as long as you're pretty close to the edge, you're going to be golden. No one's ever going to see this, except for maybe the glass shop if they have to replace it or something like that for some reason. You know, it gets broken or damaged or whatever. And if that's the case, probably a lot bigger issues than your cut line, so generally just don't worry about that too much. Now for me, whenever I'm cutting on the actual tint part, it always seems like it's a lot more difficult than when you're cutting on the release liner side. I don't know why. Okay. Boom, boom. Got a little bit left up here. I'm gonna straight up tell you, is this the prettiest cut? No. But let's look here. Here's our seal line right here. We're covered all the way around. Don't have to be pretty, just has to be past the seals. So take this and give it another little shot of the juice here. Go ahead and do a little squeegee action. Okay. Make sure we got this where we want it. Now whenever you're doing film like this, you're probably going to get a couple specks of dust in it. It's just the way it is because it's laying down. However, here's my personal opinion. You guys are free to agree or disagree. I don't really care. See that? We're not touching anything but the glass. We're gonna roll it right in there. I would rather have a couple extra specks of dust than have a cut line or have a crease where you couldn't get it into the film, or, you know, insert common problems that you see on these little quarter windows. Yeah, I just don't like it. So I would rather deal with 2 or 3 extra specks of dust in a little tiny window rather than have a big cut line that says, hey, I didn't do a very good job on this window. That's just my opinion. Like I said, you guys are free to agree or disagree. So now you're probably thinking, well, man, but you can't put this back together because your seal is going to peel the film. 100% correct. So what we're going to do, voila, one, we're going to make sure we're past our dirt line. This is why I didn't worry about cleaning the seals all that much, right? We're past. We don't really have any specks of dust, which is shocking, honestly. I ain't gonna lie to you. Now, enter the torch. Now, is this smart because I got a towel right here? Not really. But we have fire extinguisher. I'm just gonna heat this up a little bit. I'm not worried about boiling the glue I'm not getting it smoking hot. I just want it to tack up pretty quick. Okay, that's warm. We can get a little bit warmer. Okay, that's it. We're not worried about it. Why? Because we still got to do the other side. So here's my method on this. I pull apart the driver's side. I tint it, I heat it up, you know, get it to where the glue is going to stick, and I'm going to let it cool while I disassemble the passenger side. Then after I get it tinted, I'm going to check this, make sure it's tacked up. I'm going to put my seal back in it, right? After I've heated up, tinted that side and heated it up, then I'm going to start putting this back together, and by the time that's put back together, the passenger side will be ready to put back together. Everything's going to be ready to put back together, and guess what? I've got the door panels off, so I might as well bottom load them. Now go ahead and plug my switch back in so I can bump my windows up and down without the door panel being on the car. And it's going to make the rest of this go easy. Did it take me a few extra minutes? Yeah, probably. But here's my thought process on it. Let's say I come over here and let's just say I got a plotter even, which I don't. But let's say I got this pattern cut perfectly because it's a plotter cut perfectly. It's a plotter cut, and I'm gonna go ahead and let's say I get it bound up right here and I get a big pinch, and or I get a bunch of dust that gets sucked in on this corner, which often happens. These two corners are gonna be your worst. I messed up that pattern, now I gotta go cut another one. Did you really save any time? After you fight and fuss with these for 20-30 minutes trying to get them decent, you could just pull it apart, have it done phenomenally, put it back together and be done. I mean, that's just my method of thinking. I'm a perfectionist. I really like the cars to come out as perfect as I possibly can. I know there's no such thing as a perfect tint job, but I strive to get as close as I can every single car. Doesn't matter if it's a Porsche, a Prius, what. So, you can touch this. This is pretty warm. What's that mean? That means our glue is going to stick real nice. I also like to keep these together, so I make sure I have the correct seal for the correct window. But anyway, I'm going to jump over here to the passenger side. I'll bring you back for reinstallation of this side, let the GoPro cool off for a little bit, and we'll just put this window back together, and I'll show you, you know. Like I said, it really doesn't take that much time. We started it, I don't know. I don't even know what time we started this video, but it's not a big deal. So I'll see you guys in a few. All right, guys, it's almost 11:40, almost an hour later, and I know what you're thinking. Oh my gosh, it took you that long to do that. I'm never pulling these panels out, pulling these windows. No, my yard care guy showed up. I had to do some other stuff. Fun. Anyway, we got our other glass here. Yes, it's dirty because we've, you know, fingerprinted it all up. Not worried about it because guess what? We're going to get it dirty when we put it back in the car. So I already got the driver's side done. That's the side I'm going to show you the installation of, but I figured I'd bring you back and show you the seal. Look at all that dust on the seal. Well, we could clean and that's not all going to go away. So I find that putting these in bottom first seems to work a lot better for me. This is the reason why I don't shave them, because if you do just get a little bit of overhang, guess what? You're going to peel your film unless it's completely dry. So not really worth it to me. And then what you're going to kind of do is basically just kind of work this, kind of stretch this top corner. I hope I'm giving you guys a halfway decent angle, and boom, look. Oh, we did it anyway. Not to fear, suede blade is here. And we'll just make sure we push on this back side rather than the front side so that doesn't happen again. Crisis averted. It's all tucked behind the seal anyway, so you're never going to see it. So this is ready for installation. So with that said, let's get to going and putting this back in. So the reason why we had so much trouble right here is because I don't know if I can get you a halfway decent angle, but that's because we still have this bottom bolt in there. If we had this bottom bolt completely out, we could just and it would be no big deal. However, it's going to be a pain to line that up. Well, a little doggy print looks like. it's going to be a pain to line that up. So what I like to do is just give it a quick little mist of your slip solution. We're going to drop this down in here. I'm going to pull this as far forward as we can and try to just work this top edge in just like that. Look at that, that's money. Sit her back down. What we want is right there. We want this seal to lay on it. I mean, you can see where the dirt is. Basically, we're just, you know, putting it back together the exact way it was. Then we'll go ahead and put our window track on there, you know, whatever you want to call that. And, you know, push that in there so it's secure. We can go ahead and put this in since it's just wanting to go back in its home, right? And now we're ready to stick this bad boy back in. Get our chair. So you can see right here, there's our rod, our lock rod, I don't know, track rod, whatever you want to call it. I'm sure somebody out there knows the exact 100% technical term for it. Hang on, I'm gonna break the internet here. Oh. We're gonna snug her up, or start it with the impact. That's a big no-no. But when you know your tools, you can do stuff like that. We're gonna switch out the old Phillips, and we'll come down here and find our little guy right here. This is probably one of the most important parts. Look at that, man, we got our money right there. Sometimes you got to tweak that a little bit, you know, to get it to lay exactly where you want it to. However, that worked out pretty well for us. So now what we're gonna do, switch back to our 10 millimeter, and we're gonna grab this one. We're gonna go ahead and snug up this bottom one. So if we would have removed this bolt here, we would have had to try to line up that rod, and it's just a pain. So this is the way I do it. As you can see, we made it work. Click. Since that's in there, now we can go ahead, snap this back in. We didn't break our little airbag, dude, so that's great news. Our little clip deal is in here, and then we just gotta figure out which one of these goes where. So this will probably be the one that goes right here, so there should be a little cutout for it. We may have to watch the video and see, because we are missing a piece. And oh, it probably goes like this. Yeah, so when in doubt, figure it out. Just lock that guy back on there and flip him around like so, and put him back in his home. We can use our pick if we wanted to, but we already put it back in the toolbox, so that's boom right there. And then this little fellow goes right there. Now we're ready to slap our door panel back on. However, we're gonna go ahead and do this roll up, and then what I'm gonna do, make this 10 times easier. Don't try to fight the sweep on this, and don't put it on the door panel and try to get this on here. Just put this back on the door when you're done tinting your other window, right? Clip it back on there, and then that will clip onto it. Makes it way easier. You don't have to sit here and try to line it all up. And make sure that you do that, so that way you gotta put this little guy back on there. These are labeled left and right, so just in case you somehow get them mixed up or whatever. But that's it. This window's back in here. Let's hit it with a little glass cleaner. Kicks and giggles. Get our little fingerprints off there. And as you can see, got a little dust on there, but a little bit of something right here that didn't scrub off. There's no contamination, actually. No, I don't even see a single speck in the film. Obviously it needs to dry. We don't have any cut lines, we don't have any light gaps, we don't have any creases or pinches or any of that stuff. And as you can see, it wasn't rocket science. It's not super hard. We did that in basically like 5 minutes. We do the other side in like 5 minutes, probably even a little bit faster, since I'm not going to film that side. I don't have to sit here and explain anything. Just boom, get to it, and we're good to go. Like, that's why I always pull these little quarter windows out. The results are just worth the extra time. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching. I'll see you on the next one. Alright guys, just want to show you the finished product real quick. Here's the Camry. We got everything done, 20% ceramic tint. So looks good. Good install. Just a touch slower than I wanted it to be, but a lot of stuff happened as far as, you know, dealing with other stuff, not the car. Car's easy money. But I just want to show you guys, these Camrys really aren't tough, especially if you do them, you know, fairly frequently. They're not difficult at all. But I gotta jump off here, gotta go to a mobile job. So thanks guys for watching. I'll see you on the next video.